So most of the things around us can be of two types, either countable or uncountable. So for example, I may have chocolates which I can count. So chocolates are countable. So I can count them as one chocolate, two chocolates, three chocolates, four chocolates, five chocolates, six chocolates, and so on and so forth. And I can count as many chocolates as I want. So chocolates are countable. Similarly, I can have coins. So even coins can be counted and therefore they're countable. So I can have one coin, two coins, three coins, and so on and so forth, 4, 5, 6, and I can count all these coins also. Okay, so even they are countable. Now, keeping them aside for a moment, I can have something like water. So water, on the other hand, cannot be counted. So it doesn't really make any sense to say one water or two water. Water is simply water. So you cannot count water. So water, on the other hand, is uncountable, cannot be counted. So countable, countable, uncountable. Similarly, another example would be juice. You cannot count juice, right? One juice, two juice, doesn't make sense. You cannot count juice. Juice is just juice. So if you can, so one thing that you can notice is countable things are actually discrete, or they're in packets, right? You can have one or two. Similarly, you can have one piece, two piece, three piece. But this is like continuous thing, okay? So this is like fluid, continuous thing, just like air, water, juice, continuous thing. So keeping that aside, you have two types of things: countable and uncountable. Now, in our day-to-day lives, we need to measure different quantities, be it countable or be it uncountable. So it is easy for you to, for let's say you go to a shop and you have to buy some chocolates. So you can easily tell the shopkeeper that you need two chocolates. So yeah, the shopkeeper will give you two chocolates. So you can easily measure the quantity of chocolates. Similarly, if you want coins from your friends or friend, you may ask him to give you two coins, two 5 rupee coins, okay? And that's also easy to measure in quantity. But on the other hand, if you have to, let's say, ask for water, you can't say give me one water, two water, three water. It doesn't make sense. So, how do you measure things that cannot be counted? Well, for that, we take something, we take the help of other instruments. For example, I can use this. So this is a karchi or a ladle. Okay, so what I can do is I can take one karchi of water. So take the karchi, completely fill it with water, and then carefully, okay, I'll not take the risk, transfer it. So that's one karchi of water. I can do that another time, two karchis of water. I can have three karchi full of water. I can have then four karchi full of water, and I can have, I think, yeah, five karchis full of water, and the glass is almost completely full. So that is one way. So for example, if I wish to drink this much water, what I can tell my sister to do is give me six karchis of water, okay? And she'll take a karchi, just do what I did, and she can measure that amount of water. So what we just did was we used an instrument to measure some quantity of an uncountable object. Now, what we had done was we had, yeah, using unit, we used an instrument. Now coming to the question, coming to the chocolates once again. If you observe, who decides actually how big one chocolate is? So it is a very random, or just this is a very random thing, right? This just depends on the wish of the chocolate manufacturer. If he wanted, he could have made a bigger chocolate. And so, for example, if I have two chocolates, the number is 2, right? That I've linked to the quantity of chocolates. So after all, what is measuring? Measuring is assigning a number to the quantity of anything. So for example, if I'm measuring the quantity of chocolates, I assign this a number 2. So I said 2 chocolates. I'm measuring it. Similarly, I had assigned a number to this amount of water, which is 6. 6 karchis of water. Okay. Similarly, 2 chocolates. Here. But if you see that number 2 is actually how much quantity that number 2 is associated with is a very random or tukka wala thing. Why? So 2 chocolates, but I can also have different size of chocolate. So for example, if I get 2 Kit Kat chocolates, their size will be bigger, right? But again, the number associated is 2, but I have more chocolate the same. I have bigger chocolates. Why? Because I have bigger chocolates, so I get more quantity of chocolate, while the number associated is 2. While here, although the number associated is the same 2, but I have lesser amount of chocolate, right? It's really clear. So there is something missing. The number itself is not enough to tell the quantity of the object that you're trying to measure. So what is that connection between the two? Well, that depends on how big one piece is, or rather how big one unit is. What is unit? A unit is simply means 1. So how big my 1 is. So here in this case, how big my 1 chocolate is. So it could be this big, or it could be this big. So if it is this big, so my 1 unit is big. So if I have 2 units of chocolate, I'll have this much. But if I have 2 units where my unit is this, I'll have this much of chocolate. So the unit is different. I think that will be clear if I come to the example of water. So for example, just now I had filled 6 kerchies of water, right? And I had got a glass full of water. But what if I use a different instrument? Let's say a spoon instead of a kerchi. I keep this aside. So again, I completely fill this spoon up with water, and 1 spoon of water, 2 spoons of water, 3 spoons of water, 4, 5, 6. Again, the number associated with this quantity is 6. It is just the same. So even the number associated with the last quantity of water was also 6, but the quantity is clearly very different. Why? Well, the thing that associates this number 6 with the quantity is different in this case. So in this case, my unit, okay, so my unit is this much. How much my 1 is? So my 1 in this case, or my unit in this case, is a teaspoon. Okay, this is a teaspoon or a normal spoon. Okay, so my unit, which is 1 teaspoon, is different. So how do I show that difference? Well, I say that by mentioning the unit. So I say this is 6 teaspoons of water. So I just drank right now 6 teaspoons of water. Whereas if I take something bigger like a tablespoon, I can completely fill this tablespoon up and fill the water again. And if I continue doing so, I just took 2 tablespoons of water, and yeah, you can see that is much more than 6 teaspoons of water. So yeah, because the unit was different, the number, so even if the number associated with the quantity is the same, but the unit or the instrument that you use to measure, or how big your 1 is, if that's different, the total quantity can be different. So I hope now you understand the meaning of units and why we actually need to use units. So just by saying 6 waters doesn't make sense. You have to say 6 teaspoons of water, tablespoons of water, or 6 kerchies of water. And for that matter, you can use any other unit also. Okay, everything else that we may use to define one one of water. For example, how much R1 is in case of water, that can be said to be a unit. So for example, if I don't even have this, I can use another very simple unit, which could be 1 mouthful of water. So even that could be a unit. 1 mouthful of water. I can take 2 mouthful of water, and so on and so forth. Even that could be a unit. But obviously, all these units are not used in our day-to-day life, and we'll see in the next video why.